The rain-slicked streets of Manhattan gleamed under the sodium glow of streetlights as Alex Harrington gripped the steering wheel of his sleek black Tesla, navigating through the evening traffic. At 35, he was the epitome of success, a self-made billionaire whose tech empire, Harrington Innovations, had revolutionized AI-driven healthcare. Beside him sat Victoria Langford, his fiancée, her diamond engagement ring catching the light from passing cars. She was laughing at something he'd said, her hand resting lightly on his thigh, the picture of polished perfection in her designer dress. They were heading back to his penthouse after a lavish dinner at Perche, where he'd just closed a deal worth 9 figures. Life was flawless, until it wasn't. In a heartbeat, the world tilted. Stopped at a red light on Fifth Avenue, Alex's eyes drifted to the crosswalk ahead. Pedestrians hurried across, umbrellas bobbing like dark mushrooms. And there she was, Elena Ramirez, his ex from 5 years ago, pushing a double stroller through the puddles. 2 identical toddlers, bundled in matching blue coats, peered out with wide, curious eyes. Eyes that mirrored his own stormy gray ones. Time froze. The honk of a horn behind him jolted him back, but the damage was done. Those twins, they had to be his. Why hadn't she told him? And what the hell was he supposed to do now? Victoria noticed his sudden pallor. Alex, honey, the light's green. What's wrong? He forced a smile, accelerating smoothly. Nothing. Just. Thought I saw someone I knew. But inside, a storm raged. Elena, the woman who'd shattered his heart when she walked out, claiming his ambition left no room for love. Had she been pregnant then? The math added up. Twins, about 4 years old. His mind raced back to their whirlwind romance, the passion that had burned bright before fizzling under the weight of his startup's demands. That night, as Victoria slept soundly in their king-sized bed overlooking Central Park, Alex couldn't close his eyes. He slipped out to his home office, the walls lined with awards and framed Forbes covers declaring him the youngest billionaire disruptor. But none of that mattered now. He pulled up Elena's social media, something he hadn't done in years. Her profile was sparse, but there were photos, the twins, Matteo and Luca, grinning at birthday parties, playing in a modest Brooklyn park. No mention of a father. His heart clenched. How had she managed alone? Elena had been a struggling artist when they met, her paintings full of vibrant colors that contrasted his black and white world of code and contracts. By dawn, he'd made a decision. He had to find her, not for revenge or confrontation, but for answers. And maybe, just maybe, for redemption. The next morning, Alex cancelled his board meeting, citing a personal emergency. Victoria raised an eyebrow over breakfast in their sun-drenched kitchen. Everything okay? You've been distant since last night. He kissed her forehead, guilt twisting in his gut. Just work stress. I'll handle it. She nodded, trusting as always. Victoria was everything he'd thought he wanted. Ambitious, connected, from old money. Their engagement had been a merger of sorts, her family's media conglomerate aligning with his tech prowess. But seeing Elena had unearthed feelings he'd buried deep. Using his resources discreetly, Alex hired a private investigator. Within hours, he had Elena's address, a walk-up apartment in Bushwick, Brooklyn. No fancy doorman, no skyline views. Just a gritty neighborhood where dreams clashed with reality. He drove there alone, parking his Tesla a block away to avoid drawing attention. The building was faded brick, graffiti tagging the door. He buzzed apartment 3B, heart pounding. Who is it? Her voice, through the intercom, was wary but unchanged, warm, with that slight lilt from her Mexican-American roots. It's Alex. We need to talk. Silence stretched, then the buzzer sounded. He climbed the stairs, each step echoing his turmoil. She opened the door, looking as beautiful as ever, dark hair pulled into a messy bun, paint splatters on her jeans, eyes wide with shock. Behind her, the apartment was cozy chaos, toys scattered, canvases leaning against walls depicting urban landscapes infused with hope. Alex, what are you doing here? Elena crossed her arms, blocking the entryway. He glanced past her. The twins were napping on a pull-out couch, their chests rising and falling in sync. Are they mine, Elena? Tell me the truth. Her face paled. She stepped aside, gesturing him in. You can't just show up like this. It's been years. Years you kept this from me. His voice cracked, anger mixing with hurt. Why? She closed the door softly. Sit. This isn't simple. Over lukewarm coffee at her scarred kitchen table, the story poured out. 5 years ago, after their breakup, Elena discovered she was pregnant. Twins. She'd tried to tell him, but his secretary had brushed her off, saying Mr. Harrington was unavailable for personal matters. Emails went unanswered amid his company's IPO frenzy. Hurt and proud, she decided to raise them alone. I didn't want to be the woman who trapped the billionaire, she said, tears glistening. You were building your empire. I was just me. Alex's hands trembled. I would have helped, supported you, been there, would you? She met his gaze. You chose work over us once. I couldn't risk that for my boys. The twins stirred then, toddling over with sleepy yawns. Matteo clung to Elena's leg, staring at Alex with those familiar eyes. Luca, bolder, pointed at him. Who dat? Elena scooped him up. A friend, mijos. But Alex knelt to their level, throat tight. Hey, buddies. I'm Alex. The word, dad, stuck, unspoken. That encounter shattered his perfect life. Back home, he confessed to Victoria over dinner at their favorite spot in the village. Her fork clattered. Twins, with your ex, Alex. We're getting married in 6 months. I know, I didn't know about them until yesterday. But I have to do right by them. She stood, eyes flashing. Right by them. What about us? Our future. The argument escalated, Victoria storming out to her parents' estate in the Hamptons. Alex didn't chase her. Instead, he threw himself into fatherhood, tentatively at first. He started with visits, playground outings in Central Park, where the twins chased pigeons and smeared ice cream on his Armani shirt. Elena watched warily, but the boys warmed to him quickly. Matteo's shy smiles, Luca's endless questions, they chipped away at the walls around his heart. Challenges mounted. Paternity tests confirmed what his eyes already knew. 99.9% his. But integrating into their lives meant confronting his past neglect. Elena had struggled, working 2 jobs as a barista and freelance illustrator while raising twins. Medical bills from Luca's asthma piled up. Alex offered financial help, but she refused at first. I don't want your money. I want you to be present. He proved it. Weekends became sacred. Story time in his penthouse library, teaching them basic coding on kid-friendly apps. But rumors swirled. Tabloids caught wind. Billionaire's secret love children. Victoria called off the engagement publicly, her family's PR machine painting him as a cad. Investors jittered. Stock dipped 5%. Worse, Elena's ex-boyfriend resurfaced. A deadbeat named Raoul who'd ghosted her during pregnancy but now wanted in, smelling money. He showed up at her apartment, demanding custody shares. Those kids could set me up, he sneered. Alex hired top lawyers, but the real battle was emotional. In family court in downtown Manhattan, tensions boiled. Raoul slung mud. Harrington's just buying his way in. He's no father. Elena testified tearfully about her solo journey. Alex, on the stand, bared his soul. I messed up 5 years ago. But I'm here now. For them. For her. The judge ruled in their favor. Shared custody with Elena primary. Alex visitation building to joint. Raoul slunk away. Through it all, Alex and Elena rekindled sparks. Late-night talks over takeout in her apartment turned intimate. I never stopped loving you, he admitted one evening, as the twins slept. I was a fool. She touched his face. Prove it this time. He did. Quitting the CEO grind, he delegated to his trusted COO, focusing on philanthropy, funding art programs in underserved NYC neighborhoods, inspired by Elena's passion. They moved as a family to a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights. Grand but grounded, with a studio for her paintings and a playroom for the boys. Victoria, she moved on, marrying a senator's son. No hard feelings. She sent a gracious note. Years later, at the twins' high school graduation, Matteo heading to MIT for engineering, Luca to ISD for art, Alex stood with Elena, their hands entwined. "We made it," he whispered. The inspiring message. Life's greatest fortunes aren't in bank accounts but in second chances. Forgiveness mends what ambition breaks. Family isn't given. It's chosen, fought for, cherished. But wait, that's just the outline. Let's dive deeper into the full story, fleshing it out to the required length with rich details, dialogues, and emotional layers. Chapter 1. The Sighting. The engine purred softly as Alex eased the Tesla to a halt at the intersection of 5th Avenue and 59th Street. It was a typical New York evening. Bustling, impersonal, alive with the hum of taxis and the chatter of tourists spilling out from Central Park. Victoria was midway through a story about her latest charity gala, her voice light and animated. And then, can you believe it, the auctioneer bid on his own item. Raised an extra 10 grand for the kids' hospital. Alex chuckled, glancing at her. She was radiant, her blonde hair cascading in perfect waves, green eyes sparkling with that effortless charm that had first drawn him in at a Silicon Valley conference 2 years ago. "You're incredible, Vic. How do you do it all?" She leaned over, planting a kiss on his cheek. "With you by my side, anything's possible." The light turned green, but before he could press the accelerator, his gaze snagged on the crosswalk. A woman in a worn raincoat, dark hair matted by the drizzle, was maneuvering a stroller across the street. Two small heads poked out, identical faces framed by hoods. Something about her stride, the determined tilt of her chin, hit him like a freight train. Elena, his Elena, the one who'd left him in a cloud of accusations and tears, saying he loved his company more than her. That was 5 years ago, before Harrington Innovations went public, before he became a household name in tech circles. But it wasn't just her. It was the twins. Boys. By the look of their outfits. 4. Maybe. The math slammed into him. Their last night together, passionate and desperate, right before the fight. Could they be? A horn blared. Victoria jolted. "Alex, go." He floored it, the car surging forward. His knuckles whitened on the wheel. "Sorry." Distracted. She frowned, studying him. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Close enough," he muttered, forcing a smile. But his mind was a whirlwind. Elena, with kids. His kids. The possibility gnawed at him, unraveling the carefully constructed life he'd built. They arrived at the penthouse on Billionaire's Row, the doorman nodding deferentially. Inside, the space was a testament to his success. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the glittering cityscape, minimalist furniture in shades of grey and white, a grand piano no one played. Victoria slipped off her heels, pouring them wine from the climate-controlled cellar. "To us," she toasted. "To us," he echoed, clinking glasses. But as they sipped, his thoughts drifted. Elena had been different. Vibrant, chaotic, real. They'd met at an art gallery opening in Soho, where her painting of a stormy sea had captivated him. She was 28 then, fresh from art school, full of dreams. He was 30, grinding through startup hell. Their romance was intense. Weekends in the Hamptons, stolen moments in his tiny office. But as the company grew, so did the distance. Late nights became all nights. Fights escalated. "You're married to your work, Alex," she'd shouted the night she left, slamming the door on the shared apartment in Chelsea. He'd let her go, too proud to chase, too buried in code to grieve properly. Now, regret flooded in. That night, after Victoria fell asleep, her breathing steady beside him, Alex padded to his study. The room was his sanctuary. Dual monitors flickering with stock tickers, shelves of business books. He searched for Elena online. Facebook, private, Instagram, at Elena Amazart, with 5K followers. Posts of her work, bold abstracts inspired by city life, and glimpses of the twins. My Little Miracles, Matteo and Luca, turning 4 today. A caption read, with a photo of them blowing out candles. No tag for a dad. His chest tightened. He calculated. Conception around their breakup. She'd have known soon after leaving. Why hide it? Anger simmered, then guilt. Had he been that unreachable? By 3 a.m., he'd emailed his pie, an old college buddy turned sleuth. Find everything on Elena Ramirez, Bushwick area. Discreet. Chapter 2. The Confrontation. The pie's report landed in his inbox by noon the next day, while Alex was in a virtual meeting with investors from Singapore. He skimmed it between nods. Elena Maria Ramirez, 33, single mother, freelance artist and part-time teacher at a community center. Address, 456 Knickerbocker Avenue, apartment 3B. No criminal record. Twins born April 15, 2022, at Brooklyn Hospital. Father listed as unknown on birth certificates. Unknown. The word stung. He ended the meeting early, feigning a migraine. Victoria was at her office in Midtown, overseeing her family's media empire. Take it easy, she texted. Love you. Love you too, he replied, but the words felt hollow. The drive to Bushwick was a blur, past the East River, through Williamsburg's hipster enclaves, into the grittier streets where murals covered every wall. He parked, donning a baseball cap and sunglasses, feeling ridiculous. The building smelled of cooking spices and faint mildew. He buzzed. Her voice crackled. Yes, it's Alex Harrington. Pause. Come up. The stairs creaked under his feet. She opened the door, wearing an oversized sweater and leggings, paintbrush tucked behind her ear. Her eyes, dark brown and expressive, held a mix of surprise and defiance. How did you find me? Does it matter? Can I come in? She hesitated, then stepped aside. The apartment was small but warm. Living room doubling as studio, kitchenette with a high chair, toys everywhere. The twins were building a tower with blocks, chattering in a mix of English and Spanish. Mama, look, Luca said, knocking it down with glee. Elena smiled faintly. Very good, mijo. Then to Alex, what do you want? The truth. Are they mine? She sighed, rubbing her temples. Sit down. They sat at the table, the boys eyeing him curiously. She poured water from a filtered pitcher. Yes, they're yours. I found out a month after I left. Tried calling, but your assistant said you were in meetings. Emails bounced, probably filtered as spam. I figured you didn't want to know. I would have, he protested. God, Elena, I was building something huge. But I never meant to shut you out. You did, though. Her voice softened. I was scared. Alone. My family helped, but it's been hard. He looked at the boys. Matteo hid behind her. Luca approached boldly. Hi, you tall. Alex laughed, kneeling. Hey, buddy, what's your name? Luca. That's Matteo. He shy. Nice to meet you. Emotion choked him. These were his sons. Flesh and blood he'd never known. Elena watched, wary. You can't just waltz in now. They've got a life. I have a life. I want to be part of it. Please. She bit her lip. Start slow. Visits. No promises. Agreed. But as he left, hugging the boys awkwardly, hope flickered. Chapter 3. The Ripple Effects. Victoria sensed the change immediately. Over sushi that evening, she prodded. You've been off. Tell me. He set down his chopsticks. I saw my ex yesterday. She has twins. They're mine. Her face drained of color. What? How? When? He explained, watching her process. Shock. Hurt. Anger. So, what now? You dump me for her? No, I love you, but I have to step up for them. She nodded slowly. Okay, but this changes everything. It did. The next weeks were a whirlwind. Alex arranged DNA tests at a private clinic. Positive. He set up a trust fund, despite Elena's protests.